What up, though? What up, though? Thank y'all for showing up. Peace of love to Ty. Peace of love to Weezy and 365. Thank you for showing up. Today's is going to be focused on uh, information. We're going to focus on information today. Um, I am going to go into a small little diatribe, if you may. But before I do go off into this diatribe, today's information is given on health culture, healing through the connection with the astral plane. This is real cosmic connection. This is real sacred. This is real sacred geometry. This is none of that fake shit. So, health culture being in an acronym, it stands for Human Education Against Lies, teaching on the higher character, utilizing learning, thinking, utilizing, hold on, let me say that again. Human Education Against Lies, teaching on the, hold on, I'm saying this all wrong. I'm not saying it all wrong. I was reading from the wrong thing. Human Education Against Lies, teaching on the higher character, utilizing learning, thinking, universal renditions of excellence. I'm going to say that again. Human Education Against Lies, teaching on a higher character, utilizing learning, thinking, universal renditions of excellence. That's what health culture means. This is my acronym. It's originally stand for Human Education Against Lies on Tetrahydrocannabinoid. That is the original mission statement of health culture, because it's still a lot of lies being taught on marijuana, because a lot of people don't know that they getting PGRs. And I went over that before. Them plant regulator growth regulators, plant growth regulators, and most people just don't know that they smoke plant growth regulated marijuana, meaning that they got all kind of shit on it. But getting to this small diatribe. Peace and love to Nikki J, or Nick J, my fault. Peace and love to Robert Humphreys. Thank y'all for showing up. Let me draw your attention, because I'm not going to go back and review on shit that I've been speaking on, but I just want to go into the small diatribe on where people is at in terms of what they think the information that they have. Now, I want to draw your attention to, let me go to this, make sure I put this up. Hold on. Share that. Let me come back. Get rid of that. All right, let me put this up right quick. Okay. Because this is information where it is both educational and entertainment. All right. Let's go to share my screen. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this commercial, but it's the Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. And what's happening in this Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial is this brother right here, who is better known as Professor Oglesby. He eats the chicken and not knowing that it been deboned. debunked, deboned. Now watch this. This is information that's going off into his body that has already been deboned or debunked. The person who's eating a piece of chicken is a dumb motherfucker named Sanchez. And what he's going to have around him is his minions or his kids looking up to him, because they say to people who so-called subscribe to a higher being, they say that they have sky daddies. Now, Sanchez is their daddy. You understand what I'm saying? And it's going to play out beautifully in this commercial. With that being said, this is Sanchez biting off into a piece of information and not knowing that the information that he's eating is no good. It's been debunked. And I don't even know why you even trying to eat the shit. But there's the saying. What is the saying? I really don't have to preach to the choir, but we're going to remind everybody of the saying. Eat the meat and spit out the motherfucking bone.
Yeah, KFC.
Original recipe.
Original recipe? Dad, I think you ate the bones.
I did what?
You ate the bones.
I ate the bones? I ate the bones? I ate the bones?
KFC original.
Oh, shit. Listen, the original recipe is that he think he goes back into ancient geometry or ancient cosmology. He think he goes back to the original recipe. So he say, original recipe. Little that he know, in that original recipe, you understand what I'm saying? There were bones in the meat. And the smart ones deboned the meat, meaning that they already debunked that shit. Because people were eating the fucking bone. And with the meat, they wasn't spitting the bone out with the fucking meat. So here we are in this instance, in this commercial, where he indulged back to the original recipe. The original way of teaching. Ain't that what Sanchez does? Yummy, yummy, yummy. The original way of teaching. Ancient cosmology. The Jew cosmology. All that original, all herbs and spices now. All the shit that he mixes up, the Bible, the Quran, the fucking Torah, all the shit that he made, those are your 23 herbs and spices for the original recipe. But little that he know that the masters have already removed the bone from the meat. So dumb motherfuckers like a Sanchez, when they pick up the meat, they can eat it without them knowing that they not eating the bone. But he think and he feel like he ate the bone, but it already been deboned, meaning debunked. That's some sacred geometry for your ass. Let us listen to that again.
Yeah, KFC.
Original recipe.
Original recipe? Dad, I think you ate the bones.
I did what?
You ate the bones.
I ate the bones? I ate the bones? I ate the bones?
And if you remind Sanchez that he ate the bones, that's exactly how he act. So with that kind of like pushed aside, let's push that aside and let's get down to this motherfucking information. I had to just do that because this applies to a lot of motherfuckers out there. It really does. And a lot of motherfuckers eat the bone. Literally, they would eat the bone even when the motherfucking shit has not been looked through, searched through, all that shit, they'll still eat the bone. Anyway, today's lesson is going to be predicated on what we call North and South Pole therapy. What the hell is North and South Pole therapy? See, when you listen to these dumb motherfuckers, they will have you only thinking that it's a such thing as a North Pole. See what I'm saying? And they will not have you studied in the arts. You will be so caught up in the bullshit that you will miss what's the purpose. All right, North and South Pole is dealing with the sacral and the cranial. All right, it's a therapy that deals with this fluid. It deals with the blood. It deals with the rhythm, and for certain people on certain times, considering astro, because this is astral healing. You know how you got constellations. You know how people horoscope falls into a certain date and time in the cosmology. The age of Aquarius, Capricorn, Cancer, things of that nature, right? I'm not here to be a tarot card reader at all. I'm not here to try to predict your future. But what I am here to do is tell you that there's healing properties in the astral plane when you are applying real sacred geometry and healing practices that your body has this ability to do. Now, remember, I told y'all about the eighth chakra, which is the black chakra. That is your aura shining. But I know it's probably falling on a lot of deaf ears, but considering it, I'm gonna let it be. But with that being said, let's get off into what this therapy is, because the title sounds complicated, but it's not complicated at all. Almost meaning that this stream probably won't go that long, because I just want to concentrate on this therapy alone. All right, this is a real thing, and people can do it at home. It ain't nothing but like massaging the temples. That's it. But you got to understand the rhythmic pattern that goes into it. Practice makes perfect. But some people may have the gift already, to say the least, to automatically heal. But some people may not have that gift to automatically heal. So it takes practice. And with that practice, I'm showing you by simple step by steps, just simple steps on how to do this. Now, let me go here and let me kind of blow that up. And we're going to go to Wikipedia. You know, I love my wiki. And wiki. Craniosacrotherapy. Now, this is your North and South Pole. This is your chakras. This is your 0 through 7, which is your 8 digit. When you get to your 7, if I need to fool you, I would tell you in your crown chakra in the 7th house in the crown chakra. If I want to control all the energy that you display. But if you want to master your own energy, you would know that's the 8th chakra, 0 through 8. Because what we count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But it's really 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in digit code. And when you operate in digit code, this is how you become a master in what you're trying to do. So when you are a master of your chakras, you are in your 8th chakra, not your 7th. It is indeed your crown chakra. But the novice has you fooled like a Sanchez because he's always talking about the 7th chakra. But here on Didact's channel, the masters, the triple masters channel, we're going to have you focusing on how to be a master and not a novice, learning how to control your own motherfucking destiny instead of somebody else controlling it, knowing how to engage in conversation when you see the opportunity to do so. You understand? This is the lessons that we're going to be learning, and this is the shit that I'm teaching. With that being said, craniosacrotherapy, and I know for a motherfucking fact Sanchez don't bring this shit up on his motherfucking shit. I know he don't. I know he don't, right? Because now check this out. I need y'all to listen to this. Craniosacral therapy or cranial osteopathy is a form of alternative therapy that uses gentle touch on the palpate of uh the sigmoid joints. That's in your jaw, in your temple, right? Of the cranium. CTS, better known as craniosacral therapy, is a pseudoscience. This is what they saying it is, meaning that it's a fake science. Its practice has been characterized as quackery, meaning it's a quack. It's quack shit. This is to throw you off from what it actually does. That's the throw off. That's the bone that you got to spit out. But most motherfuckers will eat that bone and they will force feed that bone down your throat. Because if I would have brung this up as information when Sanchez is on his dumb spiel on about the chakras and all that shit in the North Pole, when he ain't talking about the North and South Pole. If I bring this up, he look it up, he gonna say, oh, that's a pseudoscience. Because he's reading the part where they want him to swallow, which is the bone. But in actuality, this practice, which is well over hundreds and hundreds of years old, which come long before the fucking medical industry, to say the least. And what they want to do is dismiss this part of natural astral healing. Just like how they don't want Dr. Sabi and his herbal healing. It's the same thing that goes on with the Taoists or with the Kabbalists or with the Agdad. They don't want nobody to know that it is a such thing as astral healing. And you have to know when this has to be applied and how to do it, right? Because your regular Joe Schmo can't be a practitioner of this. I'm just letting you know. And that's the reason why the American Medical Association is saying that this is a pseudoscience, because they don't require it, because they are soulless human beings. Only human beings with soul. Remember, I told you there's a difference between souls and spirits. Remember that. Soulless human beings can't perform this. Only only human beings with souls can perform this. Only people that you can sit back and watch it and see how it's performed. Spirituality means spy on the ritual, right? Let me see if I got that pulled up. Let me see. That right there, spy on the right. That's what they can do. They can spy on the right of those who have soul. So when you are performing craniosacral therapy, only those of the soul who are masters can perform this. Other than that, they're going to tell you it's a pseudoscience and it's quackery. They say it is based on a fundamental misconception about the physiology of the human skull. It is promoted as a cure-all for a variety of health conditions. They say the same thing about fucking Dr. Sabi. But with that being said, craniosacral therapy was invented in the 1970s. No, the fuck it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This is the moment to eat the meat and spit out the bone. That's what I'm trying to tell you. With that being said, now I'll pick a source that is diving in with heavy criticism. Wikipedia is the site in terms of the resource that I'm pulling from, and they are critiquing the shit out of this therapy in terms of what they say they think it is. And they say it was invented in the 1970s by John Upledger as an offshoot of the cranial osteopathy. which has been devised in the 1930s by William Garner Sutherland. Medical researchers or medical research has found no good evidence that either craniosacral therapy or craniosacral, we just gonna call it osteopathy, confers any health benefits, and they can be harmful, particularly if used on children or infants. The basic assumption of CST are not true, and practitioners produce conflicting and mutual exclusive diagnosis of the same patient. Now, let's go to history, considering it, right? Because breathing techniques, peace and love, star energy, peace and love. Breathing techniques those are ancient. Those are thousands of years old. Now watch this. Cranial or CST was originated by Sutherland, blah, 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 skippy woo woo. We're going to skip that part. But we're going to get here. It says, was struck by the idea. No, let's go back up and say, while looking at the disarticulated skull, Sutherland was struck by the idea the cranial sutures of the temporal bone, where they met the partial bone or parietal bone. If I'm saying that right, please excuse me. This Latin is tricky. With that being said, were beveiled by the gills of a fish, indicating articular mobility for respiration mechanism. Let me say that shit over again and try to be more fluent. While looking at a disarticulated skull, Sutherland was struck by the idea that the cranial sutures of the temporal bone, where it meets with the parietal bone, were beveiled like the gills of a fish, indicating articular mobility for respiratory mechanisms. In other words, he studied the motherfucking skull, which we have already studied the skull hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. We've been had this therapy hundreds and hundreds of years ago. What end up happening is that this science get put in secret on purpose. So these evil motherfuckers right here, either they won't get it, and if they do, they're going to destroy it, trying to keep it from them. At the same time, if they do got a hold of it, that means that they're not going to let this information out. And they're going to talk bad about it, anybody who's find the way to practice this fucking art. You understand? When you start practicing this art of craniosacral therapy, they're going to tell you a quack, or you don't know what the fuck you doing. And masseuses and massage parlors who are sanctioned by the American Medical Association. As a matter of fact, a lot of people from the medical industry will refer to you to massage parlors when they have you in fucking therapy. One of those therapies inside of the massage parlor, not only that you get a Russian, I think that's what they call it, a Russian massage, where they use their elbows, they be all up in your shit. Then they got that soft ass shit, or the French way they do the massage. They just use their fingertips and they massaging your back lightly and all that good shit. And then they got the other shit that they rub your temples. They rub your head. And then they rub your back of your tailbone. And they go up your fucking spine. What in the fuck you think that is, nigga? That is what they call craniosacral therapy. But they will have you to think that is a bunch of bullshit. But those practitioners can't really bring out the true energy in that. They'll straighten you up almost like a chiropractor would, right? A chiropractor does the same thing, but his is aggressive. His is very aggressive, but when he pulling you in line, he's using cranial sacral therapy when he's pulling your spine back in line. So your cerebral spinal fluid can flow. Your other hormones, they can connect better. You ain't weighing down on your fucking central nervous system or those nerves that's going down from your spinal cord. When you allow room for those things to conjunction or to move around, you can get information in better. This is the whole point of astral healing. And in astral healing, they use these old practices. And then there's one of these old practices is called, this is the new name for it. The old name for it is opening up your chakras. That's the old name for it. But the new name for it is called cranial sacral therapy, from your North Pole to your South Pole. And these motherfuckers, like I said, is Sanchez. He will have you only to think that you got a North Pole when you got both poles. You got North and South Pole. But with that being said, Quentin Emerson in the motherfucking building. Who is Bro Sanchez? Teresh, is I'm saying your name right? If I'm not, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing it, but we're just gonna call you. Is it safe to just call you Terry? Terry Staroga. Toga, whatever how you say your name, man, or woman. With that being said, who is Sanchez? He's a agent of confusion. What determines a soulless person? When they are indecisive or fight you on reason of human morale. For instance, you can tell a soulless human being by their character if it feels like, if the character feels like it's being threatened, it will assume the worst for you. You understand what I'm saying? You would hear rhetoric such as, I hope your sister died. Shit like that. These are soulless human beings in terms of what we can distinguish on the internet. On the internet, right? Because this is our way of communicating right now, to say the least. But on the internet, you got to listen to their rhetoric. And their rhetoric is very, very dangerous. They always feel threatened. They give no reason to human morale when they trying to explain their way if they got approached by this or that. For instance, it was a person who was telling what he would do if he had a gun in his pocket. He said he would spit on the face of the person that he has contention with if he had a gun in his pocket. That goes to show you that this is a soulless human being. You're dealing with a soulless human being when they talk like that. Meaning this, that he is no tougher than his gun in his pocket. Cowards are soulless human beings. People who talk shit behind the veil or the velvet rope. Those are soulless human beings. And what they do, they prey on those who get their hands dirty, who ain't afraid to get the work done. And when they prey on these people who has the soul to produce, because it takes that soul to create, to become a creator, making something from nothing. because this is what we're talking about today. We are going to be talking about something for nothing. And with that being said, yeah, all in a nutshell, soulless human beings are the ones that they don't have no reason and no rhyme, no logic whatsoever or rationality of human moral. They pick a fight with anybody, like Sanchez picked a fight today with Kanye West for nothing. For nothing. Just to open up his stream to get 1,000 motherfuckers to come watch him to talk about nothing. Absolutely nothing. But getting back to this lesson here. When you are performing these therapies, right? Because we're going to look off into the therapy. First, we're just looking off into the definition of what this therapy is, right? Considering that the white man has stole it. So what we going to do, we finna go off into what is the definition of this. We finna look off into the true definition of what it is. All right. Craniosacral therapy is a gentle hands-on treatment that may provide relief from various symptoms, including headache, neck pain, side effects of cancer treatment, among many others. CST uses a light touch to examine membranes and movements of fluid in or around the central nervous system, relieving tension. Now, check this out. They would love to give you any kind of medication for tension, hypertension, hypotension, whether if it's in the lungs, if it's in the heart, any kind of blood vessel, or if it's in the temporal artery. Yeah, they'll provide you a medication for hypertension, but yet a gentle touch can release this tension. This has been practiced thousands and thousands of years, man. But with that being said, CST uses a light touch to examine membranes and movement of fluid in or around the central nervous system. Relieving tension in the central nervous system promotes a feeling of well-being by eliminating pain and boosting health and immunity. The focus of CST is a gentle placement on the hands and assess, release the body connective tissues. Now, we finna get off into some sacred geometry because we finna get off into what they call arachnoids. Now, again, if you listen to certain people, they will mislead you into thinking that we don't have this same Teslazation as this world does. Remember, we were talking about the grid. A lot of people will have you to think that that's a trap. That's not a trap. It's how you operate in order. If not, it would be total confusion. You would not get even no chaos out of the confusion. You would just have total confusion if you were not what they call netted or in Teslazation. Nor I hear a person talking about net, and they don't know what the fuck it means. Now that we know for sure what this does, what craniosacral therapy does, let's look at the skull and what it means in terms of some of the basic fundamentals of what makes up the skull and why you can hit these certain pressure points inside the skull and relieve your whole entire body of illness. Only masters can do it. Now, Chinese have their way, they call it acupuncture. Acupuncture acts the same way. In America, we use Chinese ways of relieving pressure. Don't you see those basketball players when they had them like red hickeys and shit on their body? What they do, they'll take that cup, it's like a glass ball or some shit. They'll put fire in it so it can create a suction. And they'll put it on them and it'll suck their skin up in that cup. And it's pulling all the toxins out. This is the same thing in terms of what you can do with your fingertips by rubbing it on these certain parts of the artery, certain plexuses. Yeah, they call plexus. In certain plexus where you can relieve the person of pressure. With that being said, let's go to this word arachnoid in the brain. Let me see if I'm spelling that right. All right. Let me get some images. All right. The one that's to your far right is your arachnoid right here. This is your web. This is your highway information where the spinal fluid flows in between and grabbing those on those itsy bitsy parts of the information to feed into your brain. You thought, oh, in hindsight, your brain do produce all the information that your body needs in terms of function. But transferring in between the highways and byways, the net is where it travels, the internet. And the internet is called the arachnoid. Arachnoid is a spider web. And people in this duel will have you to think that this matrix or sacred geometry of the web is trapping you. No, it's not. It's allowing you connection to many facets to bring it to one point. Because remember, when the spider builds his web, he uses so many points of contact to get it going to the middle. That is total communication. That means that if I bother a leaf far to the left and the spider is far to the right, he will still get that information because he's on the web. That's what your arachnoid do inside your brain. So when he has you thinking that, oh, we can't get out of the matrix because we caught in the web, that means that you got to get rid of your arachnoid in your brain then. Get rid of all of that important tissue that allows your body to operate at a maximum position. You got to get rid of all of that because you got a dumb motherfucker telling you that the web is bad. So when you're doing craniosacral therapy, it was important for those who know about craniotherapy to know how the cranial or the skull, how it's shaped, how it's working, what is the whole point. Like I said, I'm learning. I'm learning. And with that, I took anatomy and physiology. I did. And my pet peeve was studying the central nervous system. When we dissect the cat, I got an A on the effect of pointing out the major glands, right? The major glands. I didn't do too good in the bones in terms of like the body bones and the femur and all that shit. I didn't do good on that. But when it came down to that skull and that motherfucking spinal cord, I named off every bone. I named off every suture in that motherfucker. Long time ago. So when I bumped back into this information. I was like, damn, why did it not dawn on me to bring this information about? But it dawned back on me that this is a simple healing technique that people can use to line themselves up. You got to line it up with what your constellation is. I don't know when you were born. I don't know what time you were born. And like I said, I'm not a tarot reader. So with the information, which is universally applicable, you can find your constellation anywhere. You can go to the Aztec calendar, because for most people, they think they Aboriginal. So you can go to the Aztec calendar, find when your constellation is meeting up, and get this astral healing done, where you getting performed craniosacral therapy on the time of where your constellation is meeting up. You are more likely to get all the energy in versus if you running around smoking weed, drinking, sitting in a motherfucking room all day like a Sanchez and not doing anything. That shit will pass you by. So simple, just simple. The cranial, let me move that. The craniosacral therapy is a simple therapy that you can perform in astral healing. Scientists such as myself have broken this down already, where this is most conducive inside the brain, where you can relieve people of tension, illness, pressures, or whatever the case may be. And with that, it's simple. It's going from the 8th chakra to the 0 chakra. You understand what I'm saying? Or it's going to the 7th chakra. We're going to say 7 for the sake of the number. It's going from the 7th chakra to the 0 chakra. And when you do a craniosacral, you go down. Once you massage the temple, you move down the spine. You move it all the way down to that sacral region of the bone, and you massage that, and it will release. I don't know if anybody ever got a massage before. I'm talking about a good one, to where that's the reason why they got that hole when you face down, right? When you face down on the table, you know that thing they put your face in, right? I hate to say it, but it almost looked like a toilet seat. That's the only way I can, or look like a cushion, a whoopee cushion, right? Considering that, right? Do you know why that opening is there for? Not only for you to breathe, indeed, but it will align your shoulders and your spine, and it will straighten it out. That's number one as its function when they massage you, because they don't want your neck twisted. Because you can lay on the side of your face on your belly, but that would be an uncomfortable position to get to in terms of the masseuse. But you know, with the second function that it serves, the second function is that you will rid of a lot of bad fluid, and that shit will come out of your nose, nigga. I don't know if anybody ever got a massage to the point where they snotting out of the nose, where snot is running out of your nose, literally. If nobody else got it, I definitely got one. I got a massage where the girl was, I'm talking about, I was like, my body was like relieving itself of a lot of pressure, and snot started coming out of my nose. Snot. Well, if, to say the least, Ty, I don't want to disappoint you, man, but this ain't the place for that. People put they whatnots inside the chat. If people find themselves engaging with each other on the chat, that's what it is. But for you to say that this chat is dry as fuck, it means that you're looking for some type of engagement other than the lesson that is being taught here, man. That means that you need to go to Sanchez or go somewhere to OG Philly. I'm promoting these people. OG Philly. Hey, this one dude came on OG Philly channel, man. I gotta say this. This shit was so funny. Because I guess he adore Philly. He really does. Because he was fucking riding his coattail and fucking appealing to the fucking authority. But the nigga made his name sound like a goddamn item on Coney Island, nigga. He was calling him Big Philly Dog. That shit was so funny, dude. Big Philly Dog. He kept calling him that. And I was saying to myself, Philly ain't gonna check you because he's making his name sound like a hot dog. Like you would go up to Coney Island and say, give me one of those Big Philly Dogs. And that's exactly what it sounded like, man. But that's what he was calling. This shit was funny. But nonetheless, Ty, no disrespect. But if you looking for engagement over here, if the people ain't engaging with you, just let it be. If you're here for the information, I will say thank you very much, but show some patience in terms of what it means to be. It's like what's his name in Kill Bill? Payume. You gotta be patient, man, if you want to be a master. But motherfuckers like it's people out there who will try to poison me with fish heads. You understand what I'm saying? Because I will open my doors for people to learn the information. And if they take the shit for granted, then I poke their eye out. I poke their motherfucking eye out. And if they trying to poison me with fish heads, fuck y'all. But with that being said, no disrespect, Ty. But if you're looking for that kind of engagement, Philly OG channel, Sanchez, Sir Drop, Key Norfolk, now it's Bobby Knight, Love Zay, and I'm saying that right, or Zay Love, one of them motherfuckers. Love Zay, is it Love or Zay Love? But they can promote their channels in terms of the few and twos that do watch me, for the fews and twos that are very fond of me in terms of who really knows me. You know, if you looking for buffoonery and goofballness, go to their channel because there's a lot of it over there. But what I would do, I mix in the entertainment with I mix in the education with the entertainment. And I'm needed over there because of that. So this is Astral Healing, ladies and gentlemen. And in applying that, you have to have soul. If you're a soulless human being, your application will be null and void in terms of what the absolute benefits are from it. Not saying that you can't perform it because a one-legged man can ride a bike. You know what I'm saying? I done seen motherfuckers perform shit where it looked like they wouldn't be able to do it, but they are able to do it. So your motivation in this world and your capabilities as a body on this planet, you still are able to perform. You are not miracles, but you are able to perform. It can look fair seeming because in science, everything is repeatable. That's the whole point of science. Because in real science, where people don't teach you, is that in science, you observe, you experiment with it, and you make sure that it can repeat itself over. It's like turning on a light, like a light switch. When you want to keep turning it on and on and on, you want to know that that light switch is going to work, even with failure, because in failure we learn where it failed at, whether if it got too much of a surge, or the switch died out, or it burned out. So failure is just as much as a learning lesson as you actually getting it done. But the point I'm making is this: people who are soulless, that do have a spirit, they can get their practice in to where they actually repeating the miracle that the person with the soul that actually performed it. All right. So they got to work twice as hard to get half of what you got, in other words. So if you are a person with soul, these people have to work twice as hard to get a half of what you got. No, you don't. You love Sanchez. You love him unequivocally to the point where he can keep telling you you indoctrinated. Why you don't get tired of that shit? And you say you get tired of hearing about Sanchez. Tell Sanchez to stop talking about how indoctrinated you are then. Tell him to stop using the motherfucking Bible every time he explains some shit. Stop being misled by Sanchez. Maybe I wouldn't have shit to say about Sanchez. Sanchez sure got a lot to say about Kanye West, but you ain't telling Sanchez nothing. I just got finished exposing the fuck out of Sanchez on his show. He was talking about Kanye West apologizing. Sanchez apologized. Not only that, he kowtowed and apologized to Supernova Slum, but it was three brothers who came on his show and they start asking the nigga questions. He started getting mad. He kicked the motherfuckers off, and then he going off into a diatribe talking about how he ain't gonna come on no black man's panel no more. And then a day later, he get the same motherfucker that he cussed out and talking about he ain't coming to his panel no more, apologizing to the man. And then turned around and stabbed him back in the back. After he said, man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I really don't mean that. It's just that I get frustrated sometimes when I'm talking to my people and blase splivvy. This is what he was explaining to the dude. Nigga, I'm that elephant in that motherfucking room, dog. I'm that elephant in that motherfucking room. I'm the one with the memory. So when I called it back, guess what the nigga did? He kicked me off the panel. Just like how I made the motherfucking illustration on his dumb ass when I said, because he's more than what you think he is. That nigga is a transformer. He is more than meets the eye, nigga. He is a transformer. I'm just letting you know. The nigga probably a declet. Oh, hold on. Let me get that word right. Damn, let me get that word right. Let me get that word right. The nigga is a clandestine. That's exactly what the fuck that nigga is. That nigga is a clandestine. And y'all aiding and abetting that nigga. But he know what it was. When I came up there and I explained to him about moving around in a room full of motherfucking vultures. You got to know how to maneuver so you won't upset the vulture. The moment that you do, guess what you do in that moment to calm that motherfucker down? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. You really not sorry. You maneuvering among a bunch of vultures. You know when you upset all the vultures, they'll come after you. It's just like me participating on Sanchez's show. I'm not sorry for nothing I say on Sanchez's show, but you will hear me say, I'm sorry, my fault, man. You will hear me say that because it's when I step on his toes, you get mad and it will ruffle the feathers of everybody else. So to calm the shit down, you will say, oh, I'm my fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What the fuck you think Kanye West did when he ruffled all them feathers? He had to say, hold on, yeah, I'm sorry, calm down, y'all. I'm sorry. So when Kanye West did that, here come a Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus ass nigga trying to say otherwise. And this is the crazy shit. He's a clandestine. That poster he got in the background is worse than the hieroglyph that he showed Osiris with his dick hard. That is worse. That picture, and when people are asking for him to drop the bomb, what Becky to drop the bomb, dog, he know he has y'all program. He know that. That's why he gloats. That's the reason why he can lie in the same breath as he's gloating. The nigga can brag and say that he's humble at the same time. Oh, you'll get humble when the motherfucker proves you wrong, but you braggadocious when the motherfucker can't prove a motherfucking word you're saying. You talking about he from Alabama. Look him up. Nigga, that's a back road, dog. That's a dirt road. There's no street in that shit. And then in the same breath, he'll tell you how good of a soldier he was. What? From my understanding, this is just me. I guess every mind don't think alike. That's them backwood ass niggas. I'm sorry, I'm from the city. And with that being said, if my mentality was in the street and just say if was a fifth, I would like a 50 Cent. Remember he did boot camp for prison to get out early. Just say if they had an early release program where if you join the army, you'll get released. You know you will own with a street mentality, with a real mentality. You know you will only do enough to get the fuck up out of there. You will never try to excel in that program. We know the type of people who try to excel in those programs. Those are the Uncle Toms who really didn't want to get in trouble. They just wanted to look fair seeming. When they was kicking it around their buddies, they didn't want to seem like a square. So they come along, they go kick it. They get caught up. And they get thrown right in the same fucking programs as everybody else or the hard criminals. They don't get no fuck. They'll put your ass in the same jail cell as a murderer, and you went to jail for just stealing flour out of a fucking store. They will lock your ass up with the same motherfucker, meaning they gonna treat you all the same. But you can tell a person in a difference in their mentality, especially those who are want to be Uncle Tom and Uncle Ruckus ass niggas. They will perform and excel beyond motherfucking beyond what they what's the word I'm trying to look for? Beyond average. Them motherfuckers will excel. You understand? And listen to Sanchez stories. He talking about how he excelled, how he came up in the ranks in the motherfucking military. That's not a street nigga. A street nigga is gonna do the minimal to get the fuck up out of there, dog. Fuck is you think you talking to? And then he got the same nerve in the same breath to say how if he was in a situation to question motherfuckers rather or not if they was from the street, he'll know. He can tell who from the street and who ain't. That right there was the motherfucking, that was the cookie. And none of you hoe ass niggas on that motherfucking panel checked that nigga for that shit. It took me to expose a memory that I know most of y'all will like to forget, and especially with Sanchez and how he censors his channel and how he edits shit in terms of that. This is real live editing. This ain't no editing like once the show is done, then he'll pick and choose sound bites. No, this is at the moments in time of editing. It's called inaudible or distortion. That's editing. When you are making a point, he'll throw you off. Oh, yeah, no. He'll just talk over you. When he does that, it invites all the other fucking hyenas to come talk. And next thing you know, your point is gone null and void. That's editing. That's editing. And they masters at it. And I point that shit out. I point that motherfucking shit out. Because them niggas, man, I'm telling you what I know. They are real agents of fucking confusion. Fuck chaos. Chaos is needed, not confusion. Confusion is not needed. And they are agents of confusion. My lesson was simple, quick, and pure. And for that, I only spent an hour and 4 motherfucking minutes in this stream. It was quick and pure to where I had the luxury to answer Ty's question because it's simple. Craniosacral therapy, ladies and gentlemen. Do it on your birthday. Have it done on your birthday. Go to a professional. Fill them out. I know everybody loves to think they have a soul. So with that, do your assessment. See if this person feels right to perform this craniosacral therapy. And when you get it done on your birthday, thank Didac later. Thank Didac later. But your cosmic energy, for the most part, don't even fall on your birthday. It'll be on an odd day that you don't even know that it done came and went. It's not on your birthday, but most people do shit on their birthday. So consult, look at your horoscope, find when your shit is in retroactive, whether if it's in Mercury or whatever the fuck, how they do the shit, find it what it is, and get this therapy done and on the day. It ain't nothing but a massage. And watch what that motherfucking shit do. Is gonna open your ass wide open. Like you just took some eucalyptus. Astral healing. Remember, there is herbal healing, which Dr. Sebi is a master of. And you see the American Medical Association try to debunk and make his shit pseudoscience. The same thing here with the cranial sacral therapy, which is mastered with African tribes, right? Certain African tribes, one of them being the it starts with a T. Damn, it's at the tip of my tongue. But them, the Chinese, the Buddhists, they and the Indians, the East Indians, and I'm pretty sure the Aboriginals have this same therapy. Is when it's being performed and how it's being performed and who is performing it. So, astral healing is getting anything done that is going to relieve your body of any tension is on the stars that align with you. Now, you got to be clairvoyant. You got to have the mind. You got to have the set. You got to have all that good shit in order for this to fit pieces in the puzzle. Other than that, you just like going into a salon and getting a massage, which is nothing wrong with that. You see thousands and thousands or millions and millions of people are participating in that now. You seeing black folks not afraid getting pedicures, feet fucked up. After the pedicure, they kind of look all right, but coming up in there, none afraid, and they getting their feet done. We all know about the orifices of the fucking feet in the sole of the foot. We all know about that. They going to massage parlors now. They going to what they call those saunas and all that shit. Black folks are now participating back into a natural way of science where they used to heal themselves outside of what is called modern medicine. The reason why modern medicine had to be invented is because we have a lot of soulless people that are dictating shit. And because of that, they are unable to perform these natural phenomena. And since they are unable to perform these natural phenomena, they got to come up with an alternative. The alternative is modern medicine, but they take from the original recipe. Remember, I told you about that original recipe. I ate the bone. I ate the motherfucking bone. Sanchez ate the bone, man. God damn. But that's the reason why I can address and entertain Ty's question in terms when he said, oh, well, I'm going to just go ahead and unsubscribe. Then Sanchez this and Sanchez that. I get sick of hearing about bro Sanchez. No, fuck you don't. You love that dude. Now, if you're talking about on my channel that I talk about Sanchez is in context, it's in commentary, it's not taken out of that, and it's a must that I talk about it. And only reason why I talk about it is when I participate on this panel. I never bring shit up that I don't participate on this panel. If I don't participate on this panel and I listen to it, do you know I still be on the edge of my motherfucking seat when I hear that nigga? That nigga be spewing some of the most wildish, stupidest shit in the whole entire goddamn universe. I'm just using that, that's an exaggeration, but the nigga be saying the most dumbest shit. And with that, it be times that I don't participate on the show. I don't strike up my motherfucking YouTube to do an addressment and say, hey, everybody, listen to Sanchez. Sanchez this, Sanchez that. No, it's only time when I participate and I try to get a soliloquy across or anecdote across. And when I'm talking calm, something like I'm doing right now, not using absolutely no curse words, keeping it within the engagement and in the rules of engagement. Do you know I still get kicked to the back? But other niggas like Taz, calling himself the GOAT, not Taz Show, but Taz the GOAT, right? He was calling Sanchez all kind of bitch made ass niggas. He was cussing out that whole panel. Not one time he kicked that nigga off, man. And I've been engaging with Sanchez longer than Taz was. But Taz get more respect in terms of that for only one reason, because he got more followers and subscribers. So if you fall off, nigga, I don't give two fucks. You fall off my subscription. I'm telling you, it's only going to be a few callers. A lot going to be fucking called. Only a few going to be chosen over here. So we are the few over here. Mine is earned. I'm organic. These niggas is clones. I'm just letting you know. I'm organic. I'm my own species. I'm an exotic fruit. That's exactly who I am, and what y'all witnessing is a phenomenon. There are 7 acknowledged wonders of the world. Ty. There are 7 acknowledged wonders of the world. You are now about to witness the 8th. I am the 8th wonder of the world. There will be no 9th wonder of the world. After me, there will be no more. Remember they was talking about the Mohicans? What do you think they was talking about when it was the last of them? So when you say what you say, I understand it's out of the loyalty that you have for a man that is misleading you. I know you tired of drinking, not drinking no water and keep being sent to mirages. But over here, it's an oasis. You can drink the water. I can't make you drink it. Only thing I can do is just lead you to it. But I know once you drink that water like Sanchez has, because remember that nigga was talking about an oscillator. Get the fuck out of here, dog. Anyway, only thing I can do is lead a horse to water. I cannot make that motherfucker drink at all. And considering that I can't make the horse drink the water, one thing that I do know is that when that horse drink that water, it will swear, I'm sorry, it will swear up and down that it found the water hole itself. And that right there is the trick in the bag. Because I know for a fact these flat earth niggas, because I'm going to rename myself. I'm sorry. For those who are subscribed to that type of science, I'm like he said that he don't give a fuck about a globalist and he's going to hurt people's feelings and because he want to explain what he think the globe is. I'm sorry. For the 123, probably -1 according to Ty. So he said or she said that she or he gonna unsubscribe. So that's 122. With the 122 that is following me for all the flat earth, I'm gonna make y'all fucking mad because I'm gonna rename myself Didact the Flat Earth Killer. Because that is the square base on what y'all stand on, and it's a faulty and an unstable foundation. And it's crumbling underneath your feet. You ever stood on a pile of rocks that were unstable? That's what y'all on. Y'all uneven. Y'all not stable. But you got your feet on the ground, to say the least. But it's unstable. You uneven. It's like you're doing a Captain Morgan stand. You know how you know that you know that whiskey. Is it a whiskey or a rum? That's a rum. Captain Morgan, you know how that motherfucker be. That's how y'all standing on y'all foundation. That shit cricket and it's all fucked up. But I'm here to tear that motherfucker up. Hey, I tried my best to set up a debate with that brother. I tried. I done sent that nigga like 20,000 emails telling him and then he had the nerve. See, I got that memory call like an elephant. He had the nerve. It was probably like 2-3 weeks ago. He said, Didac, I'm going to have to set up me and you to have a debate. No, you ain't, Sanchez, because I done sent your ass 1 million emails talking about let's set up a debate because your sacred geometry cannot even match with mine. And I want to go in your backyard and debate what you think you're an expert in terms of sacred geometry. And let me teach my sacred geometry and see who comes out on the top without you fucking muting and editing. But with that being said, it would have to take place on a mutual ground where he can't hit. But he got tricks for that because he done went to Sinetta. He was debating Jabari. He started making excuses that Sinetta was muting him and fucking with his mic. I said, oh, wait. This nigga and his excuses. No bullshitting. If you go back and watch that debate between him and Jabari, that nigga had every excuse to back out of that motherfucking debate. He just showed face. And with him showing face, you know that in itself, in that application, right? Now watch this, because remember I told y'all about this. In that same application that Sanchez did to Sinetta, and Brother Jabari, you can use that same tactic in voting, meaning this: you go down to the polls, you get the ballot, you register your name, and you fuck the ballot up, meaning that you vote for everybody or you vote for nobody. They can't tell you who you vote for. You can walk right out of that poll and say, I'm not here to vote. And guess what? Since they already got your name marked down as you being present, they'll mark you down as a no voter. That's what Sanchez did when he went to fucking Sinetta. He got marked down as a no debater. You understand? He goes and show up for the game, walks off the court because he feel like the referees are cheating. That is how you do it. You show face. You let them know, oh, I know the rules of engagement. I know how to play this game. Y'all cheating. Fuck y'all. I'm turning around. Instead of not coming to the game. Now, just imagine if Sanchez never showed up for the debate. He'd get talked about really, really, really bad. They got to give him his respect now that he showed up. He never debated him. But since he showed up, you understand? They gave him his respect for that. Other than that, this nigga is a misleader. He can't lead by example because that same moxie that he showed, he should be expressing that same moxie to his people to show up to the polls and don't vote, but have them marked down as a motherfucker that knows how the game go. Don't just tell a motherfucker don't show up for the polls. The person's still gonna get voted for. Even when you do show up and you don't vote, they still gonna get voted in. But what that no vote or showing up and placing in no vote shows that you are politically aware, you are consciously aware, and you are morally, spiritually, and soulfully aware on how politics moves and how you tricksters and all you devil ass motherfuckers, we know how you move in Congress. We know how you move in the Senate. We know how you move in presidency. But y'all talking out the side of y'all neck dealing with Sanchez because Sanchez don't know nothing about politics and how it goes because he don't engage. It's just like a nigga showing up to a basketball court with football. And that's what Sanchez would do. He would show up and say, I thought we was playing soccer. Nigga, you got a football on a basketball court and you thought we was playing soccer? Nigga, get the fuck, man, push off, nigga. You know what I'm real interested in? Uncle Tom's. Uncle Tom's. What the hell he said I blocked you 5 minutes ago? What do that mean? I don't know. See, because I'm still kind of new to this YouTube shit because I'm giving everybody a rent. So there's no excuse for people to be censored. And I'm not going to, only time that if it's like sexually inappropriate, when they trying to do those links for porn sites and shit, that's the only time that I might block it off. Other than that, you can talk your shit. He said, Didac, you're real interested in Bro Sanchez. No, I'm interested in Uncle Tom's. Not Uncle Tom's, Uncle Ruckus's. I'm interested in the sellouts. That's who I'm interested in because they look appealing to the dumb masses. And I'm calling y'all that. And I'm sorry. I may lose y'all here. But love hurts. Love scars. And I love y'all. You dumb motherfuckers go right ahead and follow him and hearse that nigga up. So I would have no other choice but to fucking it's Taz Goat exclusive. I think that's the name of it. It's Taz the exclusive or some shit like that. Taz Goat the exclusive. But yeah, I'm interested in those kind of people because when the people trying to wake up from their bullshit, they bump into these people that lull their ass right back to sleep. And I be motherfucking goddamn. Since the time that I've been participating on this shit, up until the point where I'm at right now, in participating on this shit, I'll be damned if I keep letting this shit fly. So you motherfucking right. I am really interested or interest or have a interest in fucking Sanchez. You motherfucking right. You motherfucking right. He's just as worse as motherfucking Umar Johnson. And he'll tell you in a minute. I don't I'm not asking for no cash. When you say what you not doing, nigga, that's what you really doing. You fucking preacher ass nigga. But nonetheless, yeah. Yeah, my focus is gonna be on. I guess this is your first time probably listening to me. If not, I'm letting you know I have a focus for Sanchez. I'm focusing on him. You fucking right. He needs to be checked and destroyed. His rhetoric needs to be destroyed. Period. And I direct my attention towards that because this is the most vulnerable of us people. And he'll tell you in a minute that you're vulnerable. He'll tell you as you following him, he'll tell you you vulnerable. Instead of giving pertinent information, this nigga would rather talk about the H.E.A.L.T.H.C.U.L.T.U.R.E people that don't exist. L's. He's saying L's at the North Pole. He got you believing in Santa Claus more than him trying to debunk Santa Claus. It's a trick. It is a trick that he's pulling over your head. Now, I know for a motherfucking fact that nigga is a clandestine Mason. I know that for a fact. All his symbolism and shit in the background, that's a telltale story, and y'all dumb motherfuckers can't figure that out. And he had a nerve to talk about Kanye West and talking about how he had his hand on his chin. Do you know that it is a Mason sign of checking a motherfucker? When you put your hand on your chin, you are checking another Mason that is out of line with you. Except that you don't want the whole world to know. Unlike if you do want the whole world to know, you'll get slapped in your motherfucking face and you can't do shit about it, but take it like Chris Rock. Ceremony, baby. It wasn't a ritual, you stupid dumb motherfuckers. And Sanchez would have you thinking that was a ritual. No, that was a ceremony, sir. It was the 1 year that black folks were able to take over the Oscars, produce it, tell the cameras where they're supposed to be, tell them when they're supposed to come out and give their awards. And it was Will Packard, I think that's his name. It was him who produced the whole entire thing. Nigga, that slap in the motherfucking face was a ceremony, not a sacrifice, you dumb fuckers. But you keep following Sanchez. That's the reason why I'm focused on this nigga. Motherfucking right. Now, here's the question. And I'm going to keep saying this, and I sound redundant, keep repeating this. I think it was Alexis who asked me this question. She said, why do you keep going to Sanchez shit when you know he gonna cut you off? My reasons of going up there is simple. I'm there to teach the people. Each one teach one. I get information. I give it to y'all, and I plant the seed and I allow it to grow. But the real question is, why do that nigga keep letting me up? I have, other than what a motherfucker will assume to be working with me, I'm just letting you know. and motherfuckers can't stand it. And they feel compelled to engage with it because they don't have no other choice. Because their arms are too short to box with me. Way too short. And when I was trying to teach y'all about the motherfucking 36 chambers and take y'all ass up into that arm chamber, nigga, y'all arms are still too short. And when I go off into sacred geometry, especially the word, now this nigga and his word breakdown, that shit is, he don't make no sense when he break down words. You see that? Artillery, art ill eerie, art ill eerie. He'll take that. Come on, man. You can't fuck with Mon Sanchez on this sacred geometry shit. I already showed you within the fourth chamber where the wrist and the rest is. And when you are in a rest, the first thing they do when they physically accost you, they grab your wrist. When they place you in this rest, you see that? Meaning a rest, see that? When they put you at a rest, they grab your wrist, nigga. They grab your wrist. Those are images. What he like to try to share as sacred geometry. No, I'm showing you sacred geometry in the definition where you only drop one letter. This nigga, when he's showing you sacred geometry, if he dropped more than two letters, it's no longer sacred geometry. It no longer sinks in. I'm just letting you know that. If you got a word and you matching it with another word, if you drop more than two letters to make that letter sound like, to make that word sound like the other word, you are no longer doing sacred geometry. You are doing some pseudo shit that don't match up. You got to only have at least one. The most letters is two letters. But masters only find one letter that you will drop, or they interchange with the I and the Y. That's the only time that you'll probably have a three-letter change in a word that make a word sound like another word. Because when he try to match that in synchronization in sacred geometry, that nigga be ass backward word wrong because he be dropping he dropped too many letters. To make a word sound like another word, he drops too many letters. This is right here, real sacred geometry. Because when you're doing wrist training, when I grab you by your wrist, I am now putting you in a rest. And this is what a rest is. All right? Let me pull back. I don't know why it pulled out. Okay, this is what a rest is. Let's look up the is forcibly pulled from a person's grasp. Remember, we talked about music. I talked about music and touched on it. Without it, especially in the wrist, this is the crazy shit, right? In the wrist training, you are rhythmically training. You have to strike the gong with a pole using your wrist at the rhythm of the headmaster when he strikes his wooden fish. And tool and die, because that's exactly what it is. And tool and die, this tool is made for piano. It's a key for tuning a harp or piano, a rest or rest. Now, you can drop the W. Again, we only drop in one letter to say the same fucking word. Unlike Sanchez, he would drop like 5 or 6, 7 letters and add more up, and he would probably get writing out of this word rest. He'll probably get the word write, like how you write with a pencil and a pen. He'll get the word right out of this word right here. out of the word rest. No, you can't, dog. Now you're adding too many motherfucking letters to it. Now, the shit don't work, dog, when you're doing real sacred geometry and synchronization and etymology. That shit don't work, dog. This is the real shit, and he afraid of it. He afraid of me because I will take his followers, but I'm the flat earth killer. It's no such thing as no fucking flat earth. But none the motherfucking less, going back to the wrist training, when you are arrested or physically accosted, they grab you by your wrist. When you in a rest, nigga. Like I said, the most you can add is 2 letters. To change this, when you're dealing with the W, I can drop the W, still put you in a rest or under a rest by adding 2 letters. 2, an A and an R, nigga. And now you under arrest. Fool ass nigga. And when I put you under arrest, I'm grabbing you by your wrist. I'm cuffing your wrist. Can't fuck with me. You can't fuck with me, Sanchez. You can't fuck with me, boy. So run and tell that to Sanchez, Ty. But besides that, quick lesson. That's it. It's nothing long and fancy, even though I've been going for an hour and 30-something minutes, which is not long compared to most of my lessons. But this one, it was a mix and match. I understand the plight of people trying to listen to information, but I have to put these titles, I have to rush these titles in, briefly talk about it, because what's going to end up happening is building up my catalog. Y'all don't know that, but I'm going to tell y'all anyway. It's building up my catalog. I'm adding in the grievances that I have with other panel holders in the middle of my soliloquies of teaching, which in sometimes can rub people the wrong way, because most people or some people only want to come up here to get the lesson. They don't want to hear no bullshit about what happened on another motherfucker's panel or none of that shit. I understand them. Trust me. I understand them very well. But patience is a virtue. And with that, you have to know the whole entire context, because even with this catalog, which is small, my catalog, I don't even have 100 videos yet. I'm getting up there. I'm like at 87 or 88 or some shit like that. I think that's going to make the 89th one. But as I accumulate in these streams, right, the platform then widens up in terms of what sections are going to be strictly for commentary versus me going out there and just totally lecturing, to say the least, right? The reason why now at this particular junction in my maturing on this stream that I'm mixing and matching me talking about people and then having a lesson in it is for this reason. I have to put these lessons in here because I want y'all to get an idea on the head-on collision on information that is taking place. I don't want y'all to get this shit fucked up and confused. So I am going to talk about other people's information and what they're saying. And if it needs to be harshly checked, like these dumb motherfuckers using those type of languages, then that's what's going to have to be. But y'all going to have to know and learn the contention and what's going on, because I just can give my information and people can take it, run with it, or whatever the case may be, and I just leave it at that. But no, I don't want my information mixed up with no motherfucker. from Rod Hayes to Sonetta, Phil Valentine, Dr. Kaba, Sanchez, Dreads. None of these motherfuckers. I don't want you to mix my information. Lex, no disrespect to Lex, but I don't want you to mix my information up with his. Madon, none of these motherfuckers. Don't mix my information up with them because I'm coming from a whole nother perspective and I'm reintroducing the Ogdog. I've been reintroducing the Ogdog now for about about to say 8 again, about like 3 years, 3 to 4 years. I've been reintroducing the Ogdog slowly but surely back into the motherfucking world via YouTube. That's my whole pet peeve. And with that, I'm not of these people. So my contention is going to always be expressed. And I'm sorry that sometimes I express my contention in the moments where I'm supposed to be teaching. But that has to be. In other words, just like how Brother Polite said about the money, he had to burn out his desires before he become humble with all the money that he was getting. Because I think he got his first meal. I think it was like 2.5 million. Or you can say the least his first million. When he got that, he had a public announcement. This was not public, but for the people who were following him, he made an announcement. He said, you may see me. He said, you may see some changes with me. He said, do not be discouraged. I'm still the same Brother Polite. But at the moment as the material wealth comes, I'm repeating him. It's what's the word? It's not verbatim. Fuck, I can't get the word out, but I'm repeating. He said that his material world is going to change. And in that, he said he has to burn out his desires. In other words, he was desiring Gucci, Louis Vuitton. When he couldn't afford it, he was just wearing fucking blue jeans or Bugle Boys or wherever the fuck he was wearing. But now he can afford his Timbs, his motherfucking hat, and all that shit. He was living out his life. And I'm letting you know, I'm using the same concept here. Let me burn my desires out on these hoe ass niggas before I go absolutely 110% into lessons and not talk about nobody in the motherfuckers. I need the discipline. I'm admitting that I need the discipline, but at the same time, let me burn my desire out because these hoe ass niggas is gonna get it in the midst of me making my motherfucking streams. So for all the motherfuckers who are considered themselves to be flat earthers who are following me, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I am the flat earth killer. And I'm going to announce myself as that every time I step onto, I'm assuming what they concreted in is the flat earth. Because this is what's molding everybody together. This is the glue that holds everybody together is flat earth. Fuck that. I'm finna unhinge y'all motherfuckers. Y'all all sucked in. I'm finna unhinge that glue. I'm the glue remover. I'm the flat earth killer. With that being said, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for showing up. Let me give a shout out to my motherfucking chat room again. Ty, Weezy Ann, Nikki J, Robert Humphreys. I can't say that name. It's Tesra Ogata or something like that. I can't say the name. I'm sorry. Star Energy, Quentin Emerson. And for Ty to say what she said during the stream, well, it's unfortunate, Ty, that this ain't one of those channels where I open up the panel, 1,000 motherfuckers come up here ranting about nothing. But I do open up my panels and it's going to be intellectual. If there's going to be contention like what me and what's his name? Woke is the new sleep had, me and Sir Drop had, and me and Vegan Warrior had. It's going to be done with taste. Even Philly OG, it's going to be done with taste when you cursing. It ain't going to be 1,000 motherfuckers talking over you. It ain't going to be none of that shit. Gang banging on you and shit. Y'all internet gang bangers. It ain't going to be, it was none of that shit. And trust me, I had a few people on my goddamn string ready to jump down their throat, like Wheezy Ann. But Wheezy Ann showed decorum as a gentleman, and he was showing the same motherfucking restraint on Sanchez channel, but Sanchez makes evil look fair, seeming like we are disruptive, or make look Louisiana disruptive, or Brandon, he make Brandon look like he disruptive. These brothers are not disruptive. It's Sanchez and his people. You can tell the way they carry themselves when they come to a fucking neutral panel, or even a panel that they have contention with the people. They fucking on top of their lungs and cussing and fucking trying to overtalk people. Like Sir Drop came to my panel, and I think I did a stream called People Can't Be This Motherfucking Stupid. Now I need to go back and check that one. Right? He come to the panel, he cussing. He's protecting his motherfucking Sky Daddy in the name of Sanchez. So he's protecting him in terms of that. And I did not interrupt that nigga one time, cut him off. And it was a few people on the goddamn panel was trying to tell Sir Drop to chill out. I think it was Brandon. And with that being said, he kept going and kept going. And I didn't cut him off not one time. And them niggas can't show me the same respect when I come to their motherfucking panel. Because the moment that I say, hello, how you doing? I get muted. Whoop. Let's hear what Diedat got to say. Yeah. With that being said, I'm going to end with this. And please let this soak in. This is a saying or a quote by Nellie Fuller, one of our great scholars and great minds of the 20th and the 21st century. And the quote goes, if you don't know what white supremacy is, how it works, everything you come to understand will only confuse you. And with that, I'm going to say salutations and thank y'all for showing up and showing out.